A small town romance is probably one of my favorite tropes, just because you are most likely guaranteed a happily ever after. And I think that's why books with this trope tend to be my comfort read. I have read so many small town romances this year, and it wasn't even intentional, but I guess this year I just gravitated to those kind of books more. And today I want to share with you some of the books that I recommend if you love small town. So the first book is Only Love Can Hurt Like This by Paige Toon. I just recently finished reading this book and I loved it. It is a bit slow in the beginning, but I feel like once you get past the first 100 pages, it starts to pick up a bit and it does become worth reading. The build-up in this book is so good and the emotions are so convincing that when something like physical happens between them, even if it's just them holding hands, you're just swooning. The chemistry between the two characters was just so good. I loved them together. I was rooting for them the whole time. The book follows Ren and Anders. Ren discovered that her fiance loved another woman, so Ren decides to move in with her father and stepmother onto their farm just for the summer because she feels like she could probably deal with things better there and heal better. And that's when she crossed paths with Anders. Anders now is also dealing with his own things. He lost his wife 4 years ago, and you know that has made him really guarded. So when they meet, they don't act on that initial attraction just because he is so guarded and still dealing with the pain of losing his wife. But as they like get to know each other and spend more time together, they grow closer, and obviously the feelings start to happen. And after a while, once they like have built some sort of friendship and are getting a little bit closer, Ren finds out that Anders has been keeping a secret and hasn't been totally honest about the things that he's been telling her. This is a really lovely book and I really recommend that you read it. This is one of the books that I bought so long ago but just never had the intention of reading it anytime soon. But now that I've read it, I just keep thinking I should have read it sooner because it was just that good. The next one is Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. This is one of the books I read when I was getting back into reading, and I would recommend it for anyone who is also getting back into reading or just starting their reading journey. The writing in this book is very simple and easy to follow, and that's why I would recommend it to, you know, anyone who's just starting out. And the story is really interesting too. I mean, Colleen Hoover's characters tend to have really tragic backstories. Sometimes it's like a hit or miss for me, but this I really enjoyed Reminders of Him. So the story follows Kenna, who was in prison for 5 years, and when she finally gets out, she decides to go back to the town where like everything went wrong, and her intention is to reunite with her daughter that was taken away from her. But it's not as easy as she probably thought it would be. She really like tries to prove to the people that are taking care of her daughter that, you know, she's fit now, she can be a mom, she can, you know, but they don't believe her and they do everything they can to kind of shut her out. But there is one man who is willing to sort of like help her out. There's also a bit of a dilemma with him because he is in the middle. He's close to the people that are taking care of Kenna's daughter, but then, you know, he's also starting to grow a little bit of feelings for Kenna. So he tries to handle that situation as best as he can, and you know, Kenna's also trying so hard to prove that she is capable of taking care of her daughter now. So yeah, I personally enjoyed the story, and I think that anyone who's also just getting back into reading or starting their reading journey would enjoy this too. The next book is Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. If you're looking for a wholesome, emotional tearjerker, this is the book for you because it has all of that. When I think of this book, I think of Safe Haven by Nicholas Sparks. I think they have the same sort of vibe. It is a really well written and beautiful like love story. Like it touched me right here in the heart. So we follow Bree, who is the main character. I think she was running away from something traumatic or dangerous in her life, so she kind of wanted to start a new life in another town. And that's when she crosses paths with Archer at like a grocery store. So they cross paths in a grocery store. I think what happened was she dropped her her groceries, and then Archer came to help her out, and as she was like trying to, I think, make small talk or thank him, he didn't respond, and she thought that was very rude of him. Like, why is he so cold? Why is he not speaking or saying anything to me? But then later on she finds out from the locals that he does not speak to anyone. No one in the town speaks to him. No one has befriended him. Some people think he's weird. Some people, you know, like, it's just a whole thing. And that's when she feels like a bit of empathy and then tries to befriend him. And yeah, from then onwards, just like reading about this story, and also the backstory of Archer was really sad, and it was really sad. It almost made me cry, and I don't usually cry with books. Yeah, I think if you want an emotional read, then Archer's Voice is for you. Very wholesome, very heartfelt. Absolutely recommend. And the last book is Heartless by Elsie Silva. This is the second book in the Chestnut Spring series. I did try reading the first one, but I just got a little bit bored. It wasn't really for me, so I didn't finish it. But the second book, Heartless, is great. This book has so many different tropes. You've got small town, obviously, age gap, single dad, and grumpy ex-sunshine. And I think all those tropes just made this book really great. So this story follows Luke and Willa. Luke is a very grumpy and untrusting person. He does not trust his son with just anyone, but he is in need of a nanny. So his brother's fiance or wife just so happens to know someone who is also her best friend, and that is Willa. Willa is very bold, very out there, and when they meet, their initial attraction is like through the roof, but they obviously don't act on it. And this was such a fun book to read. I just enjoyed their two personalities interacting. I think they're on opposite sides. It was such a fun book to read. I really recommend it. It was really fun, light-hearted, but also there was a lot of substance to the characters, and the reasoning for Luke not being so trusting, especially towards women with his son, is very valid. And I also enjoyed like the side characters. I think they added a lot more excitement to the story, and overall it was just a really great book to read. And yeah, that is all for this video. And if you do decide to read any of these books, I hope you enjoy them as much as I did, and I'll see you in the next.